What up, y'all? Thanks for tapping in. Today I got another raw banger for y'all. Today I'm gonna be giving y'all game on what happens in the office when it comes down to selection and camera following. I'm gonna give you tips. I'm gonna give you the game, and I'm gonna give y'all my raw professional opinion on what I think about all these things. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get into the first one. And I'm going to start with the stuff that happens in the office. There's a lot that goes on in the office. And the first one that I want to touch on is when it comes to being in the office. Prior to you even starting your day, you need to make sure that office is clean. Oh, I thought somebody hit the fire exit on these niggas. All I heard was a little beeping noise. I thought it was the fire exit. But the first thing you need to do is make sure that your office is clean, spick and span. You don't want nothing that can be used as a weapon against you when you get shoplifters in the office. So your desk need to be completely clear of anything. The only thing that needs to be on the desk is the keyboard and the screen. That's it. That's it. You don't need to have things on the floor, under the bench, in reach, nothing metal, nothing sharp, nothing that they could spray as mace. You know what I mean? Because if I'm trying to get out of an apprehension and I see Windex, for example, I'm gonna use that like mace. I'm gonna squirt you niggas in the eye and I'm out the office. You feel me? I'm thinking like that. So, you know, you gotta fight crazy with crazy sometimes. You got to fight crazy with crazy sometimes. So you want your office spick and span. Nothing in reach, nothing that can be used against you as a weapon. All right. Now that is the first thing that I'm going to touch on. Um, the other thing that happens in the office is that when you're not looking, you got your back turned, and they see a gap, they see an opening to where they can run out the door and get away. They will take it. It has happened before. I helped my partner make an apprehension on a male in the vestibule, right? She gets him in the office. I'm like, everything cool. She got her witness in there because at the time I'm on lunch. You feel me? I already put in some work for the day. I'm ready for a lunch, refuel. You feel what I'm saying? Get my head right. And I'm on the side of the building taking my break in the break area. And next thing you know, I see my partner come around the corner and she like, where'd he go? I'm like, who? She was like, the dude we just caught in the office. He ran out the office. I was like, my nigga, what the how did he get away? How did he get away? So I rush back in the office. I do video review of where this nigga left and went to. He ran out the office because they both had their back turned. He ran out the door, ran through the parking lot, and was gone. You never want to turn your back towards somebody you got into it with or you trying to make an apprehension on. Because some bad things can happen. I mean, the good thing is that he ran off. Nobody got hurt. Now, in some cases, you turn your back for a split second, and whoever on you they're gonna take the risk. Sometimes they'll just hit you. You feel what I'm saying? You got niggas out there that'll just square up with you and hit you right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they get an opening. You know what I mean? So you don't want to let your guard down. In the office, keep your head up. Always keep your eyes on the subject. If you feel like you are going to prosecute that subject, you need to make sure that after you've had somebody else call PD, that you just stay on that subject. You watch everything that is going on with their hands. You watch their hands. Whenever they in the office, watch those. Look into their eyes. Watch their hands. I'm telling you, the eyes and the hands will tell a lot about what a person gonna do, or how they feeling, or where the situation might go. You know what I'm saying? If you get somebody who is in the office fidgeting around, you know what I'm saying, patting their pockets and reaching for we're not doing all that. I need you to stay still, homie. Real shit. I need you to stay still until we get up out the office. Oh, I'm just looking for You can do that shit. You can do that when you get out the office. For now, I need you to stay still. Period. Don't reach for nothing. Don't reach behind your back for nothing. Don't bend down for nothing. Don't do nothing. I need you to stay still until you leave this office. You know what I'm saying? It's all about safety at that point because you don't know what people are carrying. And because a lot of these corporations don't have hands-on policies, and even when they did, we were not allowed to pat down the subjects to see if they had any weapons of any kind. You feel me? So you do not know if somebody is carrying mace, a knife, or a gun. You don't know. So you want to make sure you take full control of the situation when you are in the office and make sure that you got your eyes on the subject at all times. And like I said, if you're going to prosecute, wait for PD to get there to start your report and get everything together. I know I stress a lot about having it done by the time they get there, but in some cases when you feeling the vibe coming off people, sometimes you just got to play it safe. You know what I mean? Now, as long as it don't take you too long to get the report and the training receipt and video together, then you're going to be straight. But most of the time, you want to have all this stuff done by the time PD gets there, period. Now, a lot of the other things that I done seen go on in the office is that people will ditch merchandise when your back is turned, or you trying to get a witness to come to the office, or you distracted by something else. You feel me? They will take any open window to um, ditch any extra merchandise that they have on them or with them. So I would advise that after each and every apprehension, you do video review of what went on in the office when you were not looking. And I promise you, sometimes you will be surprised at what you're going to find. You're going to see people ditching merchandise behind the monitors, under the desk, inside boxes, whatever they can find to ditch it. They gonna do it. They're gonna do it. So um again, keep your eyes on the subject at all times until you get one of two people in the office, a witness or PD, period. You know what I mean? That will prevent a lot of these situations from happening. Now, going into the next one, we're gonna hit selection. And when it comes to selection, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna just be real raw with y'all. A lot of my apprehensions, I did not have selection. I just knew. I just knew because I knew, what we carry and what we didn't carry. Most of the time, I caught people in the act of concealing merchandise, and then there was very few times where I've actually followed somebody that came into the store with nothing, followed them in the store, and then seen them select merchandise, and then seen them conceal it, like the whole five elements to the T. All my apprehensions have been off hunches. A lot of apprehensions have been made because I've caught people in the act. Now, I will say, when you're keeping observation of somebody who's already, or you feel like has a hunch that, concealed merchandise that you don't um, believe that's yours, then yes, you can get them selecting other merchandise and then concealing that merchandise in a backpack or whatever, and then you feel more comfortable with making a stop. You know what I mean? So I've had those apprehensions where I've been like, hold on, this nigga was just concealing a whole bunch of merchandise in the bag. I couldn't tell what it was, so I'm gonna see if I could try to get something on him, which will help me, feel more comfortable making this stop. So I'll follow this person, they'll select something else, conceal it in the bag, boom, I got them. You know what I'm saying? Once I get them in the office, then I can discover what else was concealed in that bag, and then I can determine whether that merchandise was ours or somebody else's. But a lot of the time, um, the only time you really gonna get solid selection on somebody is if they come in with an empty purse, empty backpack, and empty luggage bag. You know what I'm saying? If they bring in reusable bags, You know what I'm saying? That's the only solid type of selection you gonna get. You get a booster, a known booster. You already know the MO. You feel me? You know these things. You feel me? So these are the only ways that you are going to actually get solid selection. But half of the time, I didn't have selection. You know what I'm saying? I seen these niggas in the act. You know what I mean? So it's all about how you detail it in the report. I observed them select this merchandise that you actually didn't see them select, but you write it as if you did see it. You feel me? They selected this. I observed them conceal it in a black backpack in this department at this time. I continued observation as they passed final points of sale. I made the stop. Boom. The rest is history. You feel me? So when it come down to selection, it's very rare when it comes. Let me say when it comes to people that have concealed merchandise. Let me say it that way. Let me put it that way. For people who push out, it's a different type of selection. Like they select multiple of the same items. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody selecting multiple of the same items or they clear a whole shelf, that's a go. If you see somebody selecting, you know, high dollar merchandise, it's a go. Um if you see somebody selecting merchandise, right? And you observe them stacking a cart and they organizing the cart all nice and neat, sometimes that could be signs of a push out. A lot of people who push out like to organize their cart so when they get outside, they got the car waiting for them or they're going to a car in the parking lot, it's easier for them to load up in the car. So look, for signs of that when you see people select the merchandise and, putting stuff in the cart. You feel me? But when it comes to selecting merchandise, man, like it's one of them things where a lot of my cases, look, I just know that merchandise is ours. What are the chances that they actually came into the store with that merchandise, right? And then you got to ask yourself, well, there is a protocol for people who come in with merchandise that want to exchange or return it. So it's gonna have some type of sticker on it, right? You know, the little stickers and stuff they put on the returns, and all that business is done at customer service. So we don't let people just walk around with merchandise that they're going to exchange or return. If you're exchanging it, you leave the one that you're going to exchange with at the service desk. You go get the one that you want and you bring it back. You feel me? That's how we do things at my store. I can't speak for everybody else, but that's how we did it at my store. You coming in to exchange something, okay, leave it here at the service desk because our AP, that nigga hot, he be on it, and we don't want no misunderstanding, no miscommunication. So we're gonna leave that one here at customer service. Go grab the one that you want, bring it back up. We're gonna handle business. That's the way we handled it. You feel me? Um, and that's the way that I like it. You feel me? Because it'll save all that miscommunication shit and you thinking that they actually walking out with unpaid for merchandise. It'll save all that fuss. You feel me? Um, but yeah, selection it's very hard to get sometimes. It's very hard to get. But when you can get it, it's solid. It makes you feel more comfortable. It makes you feel more confident when you go to make that apprehension. But it is very important. If you can get that selection, it is important. But at the end of the day, a lot of people they will fess up to what they did. And a lot of the time when this stuff goes to court, they're gonna side with the company. So whoever it is will either plea or they will get sentenced. But why I say it's important because when I did see people select the merchandise, I can timestamp when they selected that merchandise. So if somebody selected merchandise at 6:30, at 6:30, not approximately, not approximately, because I seen this, and as soon as they selected it, I looked at my phone or my watch, and I seen what time it was. It was 6:30. At 6:30, they selected this merchandise. You feel me? At, 6:35, they concealed the merchandise into the backpack. I continued observation until they passed all final points of sale at 6:45. You know what I mean? Like, I love my timestamps. Because even when I get somebody in the vestibule and they like, oh, I didn't do nothing, I didn't do nothing, I didn't select nothing. No, you selected this merchandise at this time. You selected it with your right hand, and then you did this and that with it. You feel me? And they looking at me like, damn, nigga. All right, you got it. You feel me? So that's how selection works. And I'm just being real raw with y'all when it comes to selection. It's important because if you can timestamp it. But most of my apprehensions was off of a hunch. I already seen people that was concealing in the act. A lot of people was bolos, was top alerts, you know what I mean, were boosters. Um, but there are cues to people that you can catch on to. So like if somebody's walking fast paced in the store with nothing in their hand, that might be something that you might want to get on. You know what I mean? You might catch somebody like that real quick. They walking fast, they hit cosmetics, boom, grab eyelashes, whatever, tear it up, conceal it, boom, they out the store. Um, so when it comes to concealment, like I said, selection, um, sometimes will be difficult. But now if you see somebody who is going to push out, they're going to select the same thing. They're going to select multiple of the same thing every time. Every time. Clear signs of a booster, clear signs of a push out. You feel me? Now, going into our next one, um, when it comes down to the camera following, y'all know me, I'm a real floor walker, so I'm gonna try to hit on this one the best way I can when it comes to camera following. So even as a floor walker, I did use my cameras. I would have 16 cameras up, and then I had camera angles. I would sync all the cameras together. You feel me? And I got all my favorite angles up. You feel me? All my main hitters, all my main spots that I know people are going to hit. You know what I'm saying? I got all that already set up in the office live as it's happening. You feel me? And then I'm going to go walk the floor because I only had stationary cameras. I didn't have all these fancy PTZ cameras. When I started off, I had stationary cameras. So there was no point of sitting in the office and trying to watch somebody from the camera. You feel me? Even if I wanted to. I tried it a couple times and got frustrated because they went into an area where I didn't have really good camera coverage, or the camera that I did have in that area was hella pixelated, so I couldn't really see anything. So when it comes to having stationary cameras, I would set them up that way, and then I go hit the floor, and then I walk the floor. Now, when I went to Target and I got hooked on the PTZ cameras, when you get to Target, and then a lot of Walmarts, they do have PTZ cameras. But if you got a large team, a 2 to 4 man team, the camera following is a lot easier. So you could use somebody in the office on the cameras, and then you go walk the floor. Now it's better to walk the floor when you got somebody, when you got eyes in the sky, because they're able to keep track of them, on the camera, of course. And if they got them in a good angle, they can get all that concealment and all them ripping the empty packages up and ditching it and cutting the spider wrap off on video. And then you could just keep your distance while you on the phone with them, and they just putting you on game on what's going on at the time. So all you really waiting for is for them to go out the door so you can make the stop. So at that point, you can pretty much just zone the whole situation, which means you could just fall back, chill, act like a normal shopper, kick it, you feel me, while the eyes is in the sky. You know what I'm saying? That got your back. Vice versa. If you want to take a break from the flow, you could be on the cameras. Now you got to make sure you know what you're doing on the cameras now. Make sure you know what you're doing on the cameras. Make sure you're good at communication, because communication is key when you're out there walking the floor and you got the eyes in the sky. The last thing you want to do is get your AP burned, your fellow AP burned, because you got miscommunication skills going on. You done let them into an area where they trying to go and do dirt at. You don't want your AP clashing with any subject that y'all are watching. So if you the one that are controlling the cameras, and you are in charge of keeping communication with the AP that's on the floor, make sure you got them in a good spot. You know what I'm saying? If you can't see them, if they in the blind spot, let your AP know, hey, they hit a blind spot over here in this section. That way, okay, now your AP can go pick up that slack, pick up observation, and now you get direct eyes on the subject, and now they able to tell whether they concealing, um, emptying packages out, taking spider wrap off, or whatever. You feel me? So when it comes to the camera following, it's real simple. It's real simple. If you a solo, if you solo dolo, you just kind of got to switch off in between. You feel me? Sometimes you on the camera, sometimes you on the floor. If it's dead, you on the cameras. If it's busy, you on the floor. Um, Now, if you solo dolo and you watching a group and you don't want to get burned, you might, what I'm saying, go to the office and get on the PTZs. You know what I mean? You might want to do that just to make them feel more comfortable in doing the dirt. Make them feel like they ain't nobody watching them. You know what I'm saying? And then that gives you a little time to come up with a plan on how you're gonna make this apprehension. If you're gonna call PD, get them up there, um, and handle the situation. And that's just what it is. But this is the game that I got. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the camera following, the selection process, and the things that go on in the office. But with stuff that go on in the office, man, it's so much. I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day. There's so much stuff that go on in the office. I remember one time I had a female flash me her flat, sad titties to try to get out of an apprehension. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. I promise y'all. She flashed me her titties to try to get out of an apprehension. I've had people fart in the office because they said they were scared. They didn't know if they was gonna go to jail or not. Um, I've had people fake injuries to get out of an apprehension in the office, you know. But for the most part, man, like I told y'all, make sure that your office is spick and span. Ain't nothing in sight that can be used against you as a weapon. You feel me? That's the last thing you want, is somebody to use something that you got laying out in the office as a weapon. Next thing you know, you a victim of assault, and now, because of these companies, they dirty. They'll find any way to fire you. You might get fired for being assaulted. And y'all know I'm not lying. You know how petty these corporations are. I told y'all the story about the female who got assaulted for doing everything right. For doing everything right. So I'm just saying, if you get assaulted, you can still be fired. Just putting it out there. Yeah, man. So that's what it is. But I want to thank y'all for tapping in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Stand your ground. Watch your surroundings. Be alert at all times. It's your boy Eagle Eye Miller. Till next time, raw and unscripted.